Previously on AFTN.
Let's get to the elephant in the room, the Mexican elephant, Efrain Juarez. His reaction was indefensible.
I wonder if he's going to tell his grandkids about this one.
Wie Germans are all smiles und sunshine.
Ooh, the Germans are mad at me. I'm so scared. Ooh, the Germans. Uh-oh, the Germans are coming to get me.
Easy, lads.
Oh, don't let the Germans come after me.
Please stop the pretending you're scared
the
game.
Germans are coming
Stop
after
it.
me. Oh, no, they're so big and
Stop
strong.
it,
Mr.
Oh,
Burns.
protect me
Pretending
from
you're
the
scared of
Germans,
us,
the
please,
Germans.
now.
Burns, stop it!
Alphonso Davies transfer talk there. I think that's how it all went down in Philly on Wednesday.
Oh, we might have got a better deal if Mr. Burns negotiated.
Oh, maybe. Anyway, welcome everyone. You might not know it, but you are listening to the AFTN Soccer Show on CITR Radio, broadcasting from the unceded Musqueam Territory at the University of beautiful British Columbia. And if you're listening to this show on the podcast, this is episode 287. I'm Michael McCall.
I'm Steve Pander.
And I'm Zachary Adam Eisenhammer.
And we have a special German-themed episode for the show tonight. This is a surprise for Zach. He's not known anything about this. We thought to honour Alphonso Davies signing for Bayern and Zach being of German descent, we'll have a German-themed episode. So that's going to mean lots of German music, German bands, songs about Germany. I'm wearing the most kind of German t-shirt I had. It's a band called Everyone is in the French Resistance Now.
Makes sense.
By a guy that lives in Berlin, Eddie Argos from Art Brut, who have, of course, featured in our Wavelength section. I've brought some music along. Some of it might get played in the show. Got a couple of Rammstein CDs here. Excellent stuff. Lou Reed's Berlin album. And, of course, Everyone is in the French Resistance Now. And a vinyl LP I've got from a German band called M Walking on Water. You must know them, Zach. No? Oh. Well, we've got a few surprises along the way, a few little German things, some fantastic music coming. Double wavelength.
Germans love surprise.
Yes. So we'll come to that as the show goes on. Got a lot of Whitecaps talk. Are the Whitecaps back in business? Or are the last two games an anomaly?
I don't know. It's hard to say. You got to look at the opposition. Although Montreal was a strong team up until this week, I'm not sure. It's hard to say.
Yeah, I think
I just want to know what kind of mood we're going to be in for the show, really.
I think a good mood.
I think it's too early to say they've turned the corner. Although they did what they needed to do in those two games, and so you can't complain about the results and the performances.
Maybe they should never turn the corner. Constantly be just at the corner.
No, I think
because it gives them motivation to eventually turn the corner, but they don't be there.
So Steve, before you said they're inconsistent, then like a week or two ago you said they're consistently bad. And
I think the major thing now we'll see is I'm very inconsistent on how I rate these guys.
I think the Whitecaps have turned more corners than Michael Schumacher.
Oh, nice. Shoe me.
But we're going to kick things off in part one with Whitecaps news of the week. We're not going to start with Saturday's game. We're going to talk about the news of the week because
they go hand in hand.
Yeah, it's kind of the big story, I guess. Some young chap by the name of Alphonso Davies has signed for Bayern München. München?
FC Bayern München.
Ah, that's who it is. Not very familiar with their work, but good for the kid. Yeah, I mean,
they're not in the third or fourth division in Scotland.
No, or English non-league. So my knowledge of them is a little bit shady. I was actually talking to Manuel Veth after the game yesterday, and
but remember, you can't trust anything he says about Bayern
because he's German.
No, because he's from Munich, but he's 1860.
Yes. No, he mentioned that, but he did say that Bayern was the best team for him to go to.
Yes.
Oh, das ist schön.
And I also pointed out to him, I don't think I've ever watched a Bundesliga match.
You know what? I've never actually been to a Bundesliga match live.
Oh.
I've been to German.
And you
Cup.
call yourself German?
I've been to German Cup games, Champions League game, including German teams. I've been to a bunch of friendlies, but never an actual Bundesliga game. That'll obviously be I'll go and hopefully get to see Alphonso.
Yeah. We can do an AFTN road trip.
Look who's looking to score free tickets at this point.
No, I'm
just kidding.
Anyway, it was a record-breaking deal, as we all know. It's worth up to $22 million US. On Wednesday, when they had the press conference, Rachel Lewis, despite being asked about 3 times, wouldn't confirm the breakdown of the deal, any triggers of the deal. There seemed to be a lot of things that hadn't been discussed. I asked if they'd discussed maybe a friendly that hadn't been discussed. What would happen if the season was over in October? Would Phonzies go there early? That hadn't been discussed. So some of it's a bit vague.
Well, some of that, like that, for example, is out of their hands at this point, because at the end of the season, it's up to Bayern and Alphonso. So the Whitecaps really have no say on what he does after the season.
You got to think, as soon as the Whitecaps are done competitive games,
he'll be in training.
He'll go, because training is one thing. He needs to get acclimatized to the culture.
Yeah.
It's a different world.
Well, he revealed this week he doesn't speak any German.
No, well.
Schade.
I failed my high school Germans, but I'll have a go with them. I'll see what I can do.
Why did you fail? I took a couple of years. I did.
It was my oral. My oral let me down, as it has done so many times in the past. Pronunciation. Anyone that's listened to us trying to pronounce some foreign players, like James, the Colombian guy.
Hymus.
They'll
it's
maybe
Phonzies'
know.
new teammate. He's on a 2-year loan. So yeah.
Anyway, Wednesday's presser, they said that the agreement doesn't allow him to speak of any of the specifics of the $22 million.
That makes sense.
Was kind of hinted at. Robo kind of casually dropped in $15 million when he was talking about it, or whatever he then said.
Well, that's the low end, right?
Yeah. Well,
that's the guarantee.
What everyone wants to know is what they have now to spend. And hiding, you could say, behind the agreement doesn't allow us to speak to specifics means that they don't have to be as transparent with what the money has been spent off. Call me an old cynic, but that's how I'm looking at it.
Wait, you're saying because they can't disclose specific amounts that...
Because they won't disclose.
Yeah. The bottom line is if the Whitecaps ownership and football committee don't do things with this money that are tangible and that people can see and that people think are at least somewhat in the right vicinity of right moves, then they're pretty foolish.
Yeah.
Right? Like if they
we are looking for a show sponsor, so call me. There was a number of suitors. Again, no one would reveal who.
Well, they're not going to reveal who because it's negotiation.
I'm just being funny.
That's where you have to find out behind the channels of who it was.
Say what again?
There was a number of different suitors apart from Bayern. Some came in after it was announced that Bayern were interested.
Well, one obviously is PSG.
Yeah, they were certainly rumoured.
They're basically on the coattails of Bayern all the time.
But okay, so on that, and I don't know when things happened or whatever, so maybe one of you can correct me, but I felt like part of their attempt was also tied to this loan
of Jordan Heath. Yes, I did wonder that.
I was just like, well, if I was them, I would do that, but I would be up fair upfront about it.
But the thing is how many people, how many Twitter followers did the person have that tweeted out that PSG was interested? Because Huddersfield guy only had one.
Oh no, he had 10.
He had 10.
I think he went up to 15.
Okay, gotcha.
What they did say is the final deal with Bayern, there was a significant difference between that and the initial offer, so that's good. Bayern obviously tried to lowball them, and the Whitecaps got it up. It looks like he's had the promise of first team involvement. He's not going to get loaned to the B team. He's not going to get loaned out to another another club or spend time in the academy. It looks like he has been promised first team
Did
involvement.
Manuel Fath say anything to you about this?
Well, he told us what he, and I don't know if you remember this. Correct me if, I can't remember the exact phrasing, but he said that both Ribery and Robin were told that they were going to be phased down in playing time and everything like that.
Oh yeah, Robin's back on a 1-year deal.
Yeah,
and Franck I don't think is much different.
So I would expect to see Phonzies used off the bench in the second half of this season. And let's be honest, Bayern ran away with the league last season.
And so there's going to be a lot of opportunity for them to get league games while they're going for saving the guys for Champions League.
It wasn't the easiest of league campaigns.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, no. They only won by 20 points.
There's going to be games where, if they lost the game, it's not going to really matter. So he's got more scope of being able to play. By the time he goes in January, they might even have wrapped it up in all bar the shouting, really. If you're
obviously not mathematically, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That there's very little competition there.
I think that's probably what helped swing it, though, because Phonzies talked about he liked what they kind of pitched to him about what his development was going to be.
There won't be any loans either.
Yeah,
that's an interesting thing. I've talked to some people who do follow Bundesliga, and they're a little bit anxious about this because he's going to be facing defenders like he's never seen before.
Yes, it's a massive leap. He's going to learn a lot. Do you feel we can handle it? We're not going to know, of course, until he gets there.
Let me put it this way: he's not going to be able to dance like he did on Saturday night because
there's not going to be many defenses like that in Minnesota. Defense.
No. Also, Kai Kamara won't be there.
That'll happen. That'll happen once, and then someone will take some. Yeah, he's going to take some lumps, like bigger than what he's already taken in MLS. And I'm not talking like that preseason friendly against the Las Vegas Lights or whatever. He'll get kicked hard,
like good old Scottish football.
Yeah.
There's been no dictating by Bayern as to how he's going to see out his time here. No terms around, minutes, etc. Which is strange, because when you think of great dictators, you think of the Germans. Oh my. But there's also been no discussion had about, like I say, if he is going to head there early. I think it makes sense for him to go there early. I should say acclimatise, learn the culture, get used to sauerkraut. I mean, that takes a little bit of getting used to.
German beer, too.
Oh, yeah.
I think he might be legal. Won't he be 18?
I don't think that'll be a part of his nutritional...
Okay, gotcha.
He also has to get fitted for his lederhosen.
Yeah, but that's not till October. He'll miss this year's...
Oh, will he? Oh, it's the start of October, isn't it?
It's end of September. End of September, and then beginning of October.
One thing, of course, is talking about the money. Where's it all going to go? And a question I raised at the press conference was about, would the youth clubs, mainly admitting strikers, be rewarded by getting some money from this deal? So before we talk about that, let's hear what Bobby Lenarduzzi had to say on solidarity payments.
A hot topic amongst a lot of grassroots football is youth clubs developing players that then go and play for senior teams. Has there been any discussions with any of the Edmonton youth sides about being compensated for his early development?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, FIFA has very clear rules around solidarity payments for youth development clubs, and both the Whitecaps and Bayern Munich fully support any solidarity claims they may make.
Is that message going to get through to the rest of the league? Because there are a lot of clubs in this league that don't want to play that game and don't want to participate in the global. And it's not so much a problem up here, I realize, as it is down in the States, where it's a huge talking point. But I'm sure you guys are...
Yeah, no, it continues to come up, and there are times that we're in conversations with clubs who, and not clubs of the significance that we're talking about, but lower level clubs that will say, we can't afford to pay that. And it is an issue, but from our perspective, there's a mechanism in place that FIFA mandates that, as Rachel said, we're happy to accommodate.
So Rachel Lewis and Bobby Lenarduzzi there talking about solidarity payments. So good to hear.
It's just interesting because they're not following MLS's line on this, which is to not pay, right? Like the court case in the States where MLS they didn't have to pay. It's really, really interesting to see them not toe the line on that. Maybe it's because it's Canada and TFC's already done this. Like they've already paid in the past for Daniel Henry when he went to Europe.
Yeah, it's ridiculous not to pay.
No, I think it's ridiculous not to pay.
As a supporter of a lower league club, this is how a lot of lower league clubs and youth sides...
Let me put it this way. I've not known this front office to often do the right thing going against MLS.
And the thing is, this was brought up a lot by American media.
Yeah.
I especially remember Taylor Twellman mentioning it at halftime of one of the games. So it's definitely something that the people on the media side and obviously on the grassroots side want to see happen in America, and they're hoping that this kind of changes the idea there.
Yeah, his rant was refreshing on the subject.
Yeah, it's good to see. Obviously, Phonzies' agent is also the guy that brought him through Edmonton Strikers, so that's going to help. I'm pretty sure. They said they would support any claim, so let's see what that claim might be.
Question for you: Do you know who his friend in the UK is that he spoke about?
No.
Okay, we should find out who that is.
Yes, I was curious.
I mean, I have some guesses, but
I know who it probably isn't.
Oh, okay. Then that might exclude my guess.
Yeah, okay. How should the money be spent then? Clubber's saying it's going to go on the sporting side.
Oh, that's
which is vague.
That keeps them open to whatever they want to do at the point.
Talked about grassroots, academy, and first team. It's going to get spread across that.
I thought we already know how it's going to be spread. Did you not listen to the preview podcast?
Yeah, I can't remember what they said.
Oh, Joe Deasy is like so. That guy is amazing. Did you not hear his Choose Your Own Adventure?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Did you not hear how they're going to spend the party?
Oh, yes, throwing the money around.
Okay, so what I think they should do is this is what I believe. I believe 75% of that, 66 to 75% should be spent on the first team. The reason why is because if you can get the better players in the lineup, you can actually get more people coming to the games. You get more excitement for the Whitecaps. That'll bring in more money for that grassroots level. I do think that there should be, like I said, 66, like 33 to 25% spent on the grassroots and lower levels, including, I think Russell Beresford mentioned it, maybe a free play for the lower mainland. The way that have in Edmonton, the free footy program.
That would be fantastic.
So, and it'd be great that you do it with Alphonso's money, because it kind of leaves a legacy that Alphonso kind of brought up, like through his bring up.
Steve, can I a quick question about what you were just saying there? That's what you think should be done?
That's what I feel should be done. Yeah, that's what I want to be done.
Yeah,
I don't think anything.
Okay, I think that sounds really nice.
Yeah.
I don't
believe that amount will be spent.
I think it would be opposite. Like,
I think it'd be 50-50.
2/3 to 3/4 would go to the residency and football infrastructure stuff, whatever, and then I think maybe at best 25% to a third would go into the squad.
I think at best,
but even that's high.
Yeah, I think at best it's 50-50 at best.
I'd be disappointed if the majority of it is not spent on the first team.
Are you really?
No, well, that...
Ideal.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Ideally, that's what should happen to me, because how much money can you spend on bringing young players through, and then there's nowhere for them to play?
Well, the thing is, if you spend that money on the first team, say you don't even have to spend it on an old guy. You spend it on another young guy, like Atlanta did with what was his name, Barco.
Yeah,
and eventually, although Davies is better, but eventually you could sell Barco off again, and then you bring in more money, and you could kind of rotate that money through.
Or like Almiron and Martinez.
Yeah, something like that.
So the thing is, though, in one sense, and I don't know if they can swing it, I don't know if they can actually make it legit and do it this way, but in one sense, Michael, you got to be thinking, they're thinking, we've spent more than $15 million Canadian already on the residency program.
Yeah.
This is now going to pay us back. Because that's how they've operated, right? Like, sitting down and talking to residency grads over the years, consistently they would tell me, they would say, we're told that the investment into us per season is $100,000.
Per player.
Per player. Therefore, when those players have tried to go to places where there's been they need to be bought from the Whitecaps, the valuation, the minimum valuation the Whitecaps have put on them is $400,000, expecting it to
which
get
is
their money
partly, which I think Bobby touched on there when he said some clubs just can't pay the solidarity payments, which is basically the transfer fee the Whitecaps look for when they try and sell these players on.
Right.
But again, talking to Bobby, let's hear some of his thoughts, and Rachel Lewis as well, on how the money they say is going to be spent.
Our plan is to wholeheartedly invest the money in the sporting side of our club, which is the youth development program we have, the grassroots programming, and the senior team.
Are you able to start using that right away?
Well, right now we're in when using it right away, I think our situation right now, if we're looking at this season, we're in a spot where we don't have any cap space available. So we're going to need to make some moves to actually bring some players in, and we have players targeted that we'd like to bring in, but clearly our first priority is to move some out.
Well, there's a lot of fans now. We're going to expect you may have 22 million US in your pocket, and it'd be nice to, grow some more Alphonso Davies, but they're going to want you to go out and try to get, quote unquote, a bigger name to stick on the pitch here. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, the fact that we're prepared to reinvest all of the money into the sporting aspect of our club, I think answers that question. We're excited about expanding on our current plan, and I think that kind of money coming in enables us to do that.
So some thoughts from Bobby there on spending the money. It does sound more like it's going to be used to try and find the next Phonzie, or at least bringing guys into the first team. Now, doesn't sound like we can expect a big name or two or a big splash in the first team squad. And considering the fan hostility of late, will they buy into that plan?
I can see them, if they get somebody on a free transfer, to bring in somebody big and use maybe some of that GAM to buy down the contract or whatever they are. But I don't see them spending like a transfer fee to bring in a big name player. If they use that transfer money to buy for the senior team, like I said, I expect it to be a young DP or something to that effect.
Like we said last week, I want it spread as well on more than just one player.
Yeah.
Although Phonzie did kind of show on Saturday night that one player can make a difference.
Yeah.
But he's not doing that every single game. I mean,
more than often than not, though.
Do you trust him to spend it properly, Zach?
No. I'll answer for Zach.
No, I mean, if they continue in the same vein, then it's hard. It's really hard to get players on free transfers, right? Like Mauro Rosales only has so many friends who are going to call him up and say, "Hey, I can get to Vancouver on a free. Can you help make it happen?" This is. Although it can be a shrewd way to build your club and to do business, it's almost like you're being held hostage to fortunes, right? And there needs to be with this transfer and with this transfer, not just this transfer alone, but with what's happened and the response of the people who enable this club to exist, the supporters, the fans. They need to be augmenting their vision and their plan because it clearly hasn't fully been working. I know they would say, "Oh, well, we got Alphonso, we sold him for all this money, it's therefore working." I think most people would say this is an exceptional situation. This is the exception, not the rule. And I mean, you're talking about getting held to fortune. Clubs are going to think the Whitecaps have all this money, and all of a sudden fees are going to rise, players' demands are going to rise.
That's what happens to the big clubs.
Yeah, they're not going to know what the Whitecaps' previous policy of not paying transfer fees is going to be.
Yeah.
Now, the bad thing about all this, in a way, is the question being asked by so many folk is, who is going to be the next Alphonso Davies? And I don't think that is a fair question, because guys like Phonzie come along maybe once in a
20 years, 30 years, yeah.
And there was a headline, I can't remember what it was in, it might have been the Globe and Mail, might have been CBC, that it might even have been Stephen Sanders saying that there was an Alphonso Davies in every city in Canada.
Oh, yeah.
That's not true.
Well, I think what he meant to say, there's a potential Alphonso Davies in every city if you're able to develop him properly and the right circumstances come.
There's good players, but there's not going to necessarily be that kind of amazing standout. Because when was the last Canadian player that was an amazing standout that you would think, oh...
But I think you have to look at it this way, that why can't there be an amazing standout too? You can't
I'm not
always
saying you won't find one, but you can't expect them to be like 10 a penny.
I'm not saying that it's going to happen. I'm just saying if you don't look for one, you're never going to find one. And you might as well keep looking. I think that what he meant, I think the whole point of his was the free footy program. I think that's where he was talking. Where
I do like your idea of setting something like that.
Well,
up here.
Russell brought it up.
Beresford.
Yeah, he brought it up first. I was thinking the same thing, but he brought it up first on Twitter. He's much faster on Twitter than me.
You have to look at, I mean, you said, Zach, about 15 million being spent on the academy over the last 10 or 11 years. How many players have we developed properly through that academy?
So really, let's who do you think? Like, there's
enough. There's a lot of pros out there.
Okay. Let's talk about it.
Well, there's a lot of pros that's playing lower leagues over in Europe.
Okay, let's just
Daniel Stanese up to say Kian's Froze.
Right. Okay, but there, just between us right now, and this is quick, so we might miss someone or we might whatever. Who would you say has been successful that's come out of the Whitecaps Academy?
Sam Adekugbe.
Okay.
Kian's Froze.
Okay.
Daniel Stanese.
I think Ben Fisk has had a wonderful career so far, young career.
So you got to include Rusty in that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You got to include Phonzies, although he wasn't here the whole time.
Yeah.
I would include
Marcus Heber. Would he be considered, or would that be too early?
He's at Falkirk now, or where is he now?
Did he come through the academy?
No, he didn't actually.
No.
Let's not worry about like
no,
but they've had good careers.
No. Okay, and so I would add Simon Thomas to that. So that's like seven players. But
you're looking at players that's maybe made it into the national team and stuff as well.
Yeah.
So there's been a few of those. So there's been a few, but how much money did the Whitecaps make out of those deals?
That's the story.
And there's been like only out of that list we just said, 2 or 3 guys who played regularly for the first team.
Yeah.
That's not good. That's not good enough.
Not good enough. But
further investment into the residency as well, which incidentally is going to switch names soon. It's going to actually be called the Academy as opposed to Residency, just to kind of be more.
They've been so.
Just to be more, because folk across the world know more about academies and residency, so it's to avoid confusion.
Are they going to rebrand?
Yeah.
Wow.
But further investment doesn't necessarily mean you're going to make players better. That's the thing as well. There's a lot of good players that are coming through. We talked last week, Michael Baldissimo, Theo Bears just signed their MLS deals. Big guy in the under-17s now. He's actually an under-15 player. Cameron Habibullah.
Yeah.
He is highly thought of by the Caps.
He is very highly. I talked to some of the coaches, and they don't want to put too much pressure on the kid.
Yeah. And he could be.
But when I asked for comps because I just want to know what kind of player, and I'm not going to mention the comp, because it's completely unfair to the kid.
If anyone.
When the coaches that I talked to about this one player were so hesitant to talk about comps because he does play like a certain player, but they didn't want to mention the player because it'll be so unfair on him.
The tag goes on him. Yeah. But if he continues the rise that he's had in the past year, he's definitely one to watch.
Simon Collin, I thought, they obviously have very high hopes for him. Theo Bear, like I know you saying who's the next Alphonso Davies. Now I'm not saying he's as good as Alphonso Davies, but he has the speed ratio
and he scores goals.
And
at least at the level he's played at.
Yes,
but he has been away with Canada U23s and Toulon, and he scored there against older players.
So there is something there, and it's just a matter of how you get them from that U19. Now it's U19, so they got an extra year there too to that 21 level.
Well, yeah, because WFC2's gone. We've talked in the last couple of shows about the new under-23 team that is kind of starting, and Bobby alluded to that at Wednesday's press conference. So let's play a little bit from Bobby now just about player development and the way ahead for the Whitecaps.
Filling the gap once he's gone at the end of the season? Well, we're working now, and we will be working even more proactively to ensure that we have someone to come in that will fit that particular position, and ideally, can generate similar numbers. So that's an ongoing process that we're involved in. The benefit of it is that we can wait until the end of the season to actually have to do that, given that he's staying with us.
And I think you'll have seen we've recently signed some more of our young homegrown players to contracts, and it's a huge opportunity for them now to try and step up and be the guys fighting for that position, to say, I want that spot. So we'll be looking around the world, but we'll also be looking at our own system to say who is the next Alphonso Davies, and is there one in our system?
You mentioned some of your homegrown players. What are the team's plans in terms of the development program and finding them a place to play?
Finding them a place to play? Yeah, we actually have plans, and we're looking at a team in between development and the youth team, a development squad that will play regular games, and that's in the works as we speak, because we do know that those players need games. We also have, I think, an opportunity. CPL is starting next year, and a couple of the conversations we've had with the Pacific FC guys and with the cavalry team have been very promising and optimistic. So there is the opportunity for those guys to, ideally there will be the opportunity for those guys to go out on loan. And as of right now, there seems to be an interest in it from the club's perspective. Haven't spoken to the CPL. We've actually tried to engage in conversations, but to be fair to them, they've got other things that they need to do to ensure they're up and running next April. So hopefully that conversation will come, and that will be another opportunity in addition to the development squad.
Which league was that besides the CPL that you had mentioned?
Our development squad?
Yeah.
No, that would just be, we would just coordinate games. We would look to take them to Mexico, other places, and potentially, Bayern's a destination for that type of player, that type of club.
Would you consider any plans of re-looking at the USL now that it's a Division 3 there as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think Division 3 is going to create a lot of good opportunities, so I think USL is very smart to have opened that. It looks like in the initial days, those teams are going to be based Eastern based, and the division will likely allow for very easy bus travel and the like. Certainly if there looks to be expansion into the West, and again, this is all happening in real time, then that may be an opportunity for us as well. I think, I don't want to underestimate Bobby's comments on CPL. It's a huge opportunity for the sport that CPL is coming to Canada, and we see that hopefully as a great partnership for us and for some of our young players to create more opportunities to play at home. Because I think having these kids at home in Canada is really what allows us to develop them for the national teams, what allows us to develop them for our programs, and to highlight on Canadian soil as we prepare for 2026 is all the more important.
I mean, Jeff kind of talked about it at the supporters meeting a few weeks back, maybe investing in a team. Is that something with this money you would maybe consider investing in a CPL team and having a bit of a say in the running of a team?
It's not something we've contemplated at this point.
I think the two are independent. I don't think they necessarily go hand in hand.
So some of the thoughts there of Bobby Lenarduzzi and Rachel Lewis on youth development.
Well, you caught Zach completely off guard with that last question.
Yeah, what was that?
I was just asking if they would maybe think of using some of this 22 million to invest in a CPL team so they could have a say in the running.
We've already talked about that's not an option.
You just want to stir this stuff.
No, I was genuine. I think that would be a good thing to do.
I think that's
you already know. I've told.
Work with TSS Rovers, get a team out of Swangard.
Boy, you got Zach turning red really quickly at the end of that interview.
Red like a Bayern shirt.
There's been a lot of Bayern shirts around.
Yes, there
I
has.
saw like two today.
We're gonna
they weren't Davies or anything.
An order, probably from somewhere in China, though, because it's a bit cheaper.
Singapore's good.
Oh, but yeah, I mean CPL. You have to feel with the development. We've talked about this before. We won't go into it because we're running out of time in this part. There will be loan deals to the CPL team, so that's good to have as well. You also have to wonder, the Whitecaps have academies all over Canada. Now, some of those are going to encroach onto CPL clubs' territories, if you want to look at it that way. Never had an answer fully about that yet, so that's something we will explore a little bit more.
The CSA split up the country for the MLS teams.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is totally new thing. The Whitecaps don't control those areas for CPL teams developing players.
Yeah,
that's what we have
So
to
now they're going to actually have to fight for players.
Yeah,
as opposed to just cast the net across virtually the whole country.
And I think that's a good thing too. That
it's a good thing for player development.
Everybody,
Player development in part is a numbers game. The more players who have more places developing and places to play, the more opportunity. Like you said, Steve, the more opportunity you're going to have.
Exactly.
I have no problem with
that. As we were talking about off air, the Whitecaps used to be against more happening. Now they've changed their what they're saying, and they're seemingly happy for it, which is good because they need to be.
People change for the better of Canadian soccer. That's how we've got Alphonso Davies, and we're going to talk about Phonzie and his performance on the pitch against Minnesota after this.
Hi, I'm Alphonso Davies, and you're listening to the AFTN Soccer Show.
And 3, 39. That's going to be the number that Alphonso Davies wears, apparently, with Bayern Munich.
Oh, it's been confirmed?
Well, he said that that's what he's going to ask for.
Oh.
He wanted 67,
they
but
don't
they don't go that high because they're a proper football club.
How high do they go now?
Well, he said the nearest number he could probably get to 67 is 39, which to me is apt anyway, because that was his residency number when he started with the U16s, was 39.
I thought it was 67.
No, he switched to that when he went to WFC 2.
Oh, gotcha.
39 was his initial number.
Oh, okay.
Do you know who used to wear 39 for Bayern?
No. No doubt you'll tell us.
I want to say it's either Tony Kroos or Andreas Otto.
But that was Rammstein there with Du Hast. Great band. Been to see them a few times over the years. One of the times I went to see them in Glasgow, little bit of a disturbing gig. There was a
please don't tell us. Please don't tell us.
Unsavoury element there.
Yeah, please. Okay.
Let's just say that. Anyway, you are listening to the AFTN Soccer Show on CITR Radio. It's a German-themed show this evening. That's why we had Rammstein. I got in earlier this evening, put my towels on all the chairs just to make sure that no one would take them before we got in. All in honour of Phonzie. And what a homecoming it was for Phonzie on Saturday night. After all the hullabaloo of the week, signing with Bayern, all the attention and publicity he got, came back to Vancouver, dream end to a dream week. What a night.
Tony Kroos is the last guy who wore 39 at Bayern.
Good for you.
Good footsteps to follow in. It was a dream night. It was amazing.
Yeah, if this is the final Vancouver chapter for Alphonso Davies and the Phonzie show, we're in for a ride.
Can we just, at least in our little world here, can we please not call it the farewell tour?
I was going to call it the Phonzie show.
Okay, that's better. But anything but farewell tour. It's like,
because he'll be back in a couple of years when he flops over in Bundesliga. I jest. We don't hold his MLS rights.
No, we don't. No. I'm sure he'll want to play here, though.
He might not have a say. Anyway, let's get into the Minnesota match.
Wait, you just said no one won't have his MLS rights.
Let's get into the Minnesota match. It wasn't an unchanged starting 11. I thought it might have been. I thought he might have ridden that team just because they had done so well on Wednesday night. They would have been kind of dead on their feet, but there wasn't a lot of changes.
No, not too many.
Phonzie obviously came in, which I was surprised at, because I thought he would start off the bench.
Well, I was a little surprised because I was talking to you about it, and you're like, I can't see it happening.
Yeah.
So I was just like...
He looked a little bit...
well, Robert said he was gassed at the end.
At the beginning.
First 20 minutes, he said he wasn't up to his usual...
His
he said it
levels?
was one of his levels. It was maybe one of his worst performances. Anthony Blundell came in as well. Wasn't fantastic. Wasn't poor, but
he helps,
wasn't fantastic.
His play helped
had a little back heel.
No, his play helped set up the second goal, though.
Was it a real back heel?
It wasn't as much of a back heel as the Minnesota one that set him up later on.
Yeah.
That was a fantastic little back heel.
Here's the one thing. This kind of jumps ahead a little bit. My biggest disappointment for Anthony specifically was, even though he hadn't been outstanding or great, and actually I've heard a lot of people rag on him for this performance on social media and whatnot, I was really disappointed that he got taken off when he got taken off.
I said that as well.
you said that.
Can you imagine
Yeah.
he gets that 2-on-1 with Phonzie, he scores, what it does for his confidence, maybe gets
I want
him
to see him
rolling.
and Kamara up front.
Well, that would have been...
Just so that they've got some time playing together, because we just haven't had the two of them playing
But
together.
the people that were ragging on Blondell would say to you that what if he was in that position and he missed?
Right.
Yes, that wouldn't do his confidence much good, and it also would have the fans really on his back.
He did almost hurt someone with a shot in our section. Like, he missed it really big. It hit someone or whatever.
He's not having a great time with it. I still think he needs a bit of a run. If he's not performing, you can't give him a bit of a run.
He needs one of those Octavio Rivaro's like 1-inch tap.
Well, that was his first goal, was that, wasn't
yeah.
it?
He needs
He's had his
another one.
1-incher. He needs a 2-incher now.
Work slowly out.
Not a lot happened in the early stages. Many did squander the best chance. We've been very fortunate with our 2 wins this week in that Montreal absolutely wasted a great opportunity, although it's a good Marinovic. Yeah, it was a great Marinovic save. I think he thought it was offside. That's why he just left it.
I could not tell what he was thinking. It was crazy.
And then you had Quintero's header on Saturday, and just Miller just could not get his foot on it at the back post, just a couple of inches away of turning that in. Fine lines, as I believe a famous manager once said. I can't remember who that was, but in all seriousness, it was. Both those moments were game-turning moments. Reyna then punished him for it, just like the Whitecaps punished Montreal.
But what a great pass by Alphonso Davies.
He did get the assist.
He got the assist, but it wasn't much. It was all Reyna done that goal.
It's a solo goal, but let's give Phonzies the assist for just
you couldn't have done your double thing.
Yeah, I like that. It was the most Canadian game ever.
Yeah.
Double. 2 assists, 2 goals. But Reyna, I mean, Phonzies is going to get all the headlines, rightly so.
Reyna had a great goal.
Reyna is dancing through the defence.
He was the man of the match, yeah. Because he's a man. He's over 19.
Yes. It was pointed out, though, by Simon Fudge that Budweiser have an alcohol-free beer. So why have they not done something to do with that?
Well, I think it was Scott Misfelt on Twitter who just said, like, look, this is ridiculous. You let my kids walk around the stadium with all kinds of Budweiser paraphernalia. They're allowed in bars or certain bars, blah blah. But you can't actually. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Which it is.
My idea though is we change it and we have the Iron Brew man of the match.
Oh, there you go.
No, make it Canadian Super Socko.
Does that still exist?
No.
Yeah.
Canada Dry.
No, Super Socko. It was
oranges at halftime.
It was an orange drink that was in one of those wooden boxes, and it was actually soccer related.
I know all about it from looking at old programs and stuff. But I mean, Reyna's goal, dance through that defence.
It was,
and you're thinking, this defence might not be very good. But it was
they held
done.
The week before. They held LAFC to 1 goal. So
scoring like 5.
That was because of Bobby Shuttleworth having to have a number of top saves because the defence in front of him were dreadful. It's just LA didn't
do it this week.
No, but I mean, hopefully we're now seeing a turning point for Reyna, and he's getting back to his best.
Is he around the corner?
Do you think Bobby Shuttleworth was distracted by his former goalkeeping coach being at the match?
Oh, was he?
You didn't see that on
No.
Twitter? Oh yeah, Maris was in the ground.
Who was cheering for?
Well, he said, "I came to see my old keeper, Bobby Shuttleworth."
Oh, not his old keeper. Oh,
no, yeah.
But the assist from Phonzies in that did start the amazing night for him. 2 goals, 2 assists. There's been a lot written about it. There's not too much more that we can say. Everyone around the world's going to have seen it. Bayern fans are going to be salivating.
Yeah, but it was funny. The Bayern Twitter did not retweet his goals.
Okay.
The US
they were
one,
asleep.
the US version did, but the actual German version didn't. And that was maybe they did now later on the day today, but I didn't see it early in the morning and yesterday.
I heard someone say when the whole transfer was happening, like they've never seen a club retweet stuff of one of their players in someone else's jerseys before, like the Whitecaps have been doing, right?
Yeah, we're just tagging FC Bayern in all our tweets now.
Yeah. I'm surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bayern German proper account wouldn't retweet it. But they got to be excited. I told you, Michael, like at being in the stadium, it felt like I felt like I was watching some of the students I get to work with. I felt like I was watching them play FIFA.
Yeah, you were filled with pride.
With all these these moves. I was like, I don't know, when I'm watching them play, I don't know how to do that with the controller.
The right stick, left
stick.
Yeah,
all that stuff.
I don't know how to
That's
do
what it felt like. It was like
I was actually going to ask Phonzie that after the game. I was going to say, did you feel you were like actually playing FIFA when you were doing that?
It's like, I remember reading Nick Hornby's book, Fever Pitch.
Yes.
Where he's like, we saw Brazil play on TV at the World Cup or something, and he's like, I didn't know you could score directly from a free kick, right? It was kind of like that. It's just like I thought you could only do that in a video game, right? Like it was incredible.
His 2 goals.
Yeah.
He made the first one. He made Michael Boxall. He stitched him up like a kipper, or as Fudgy wanted us to say, and are both smoky.
Yeah. Well, I
told him no one would have a clue what we're talking about, but he.
I think he made him look like a 2011 Whitecaps defender.
He made Michael Boxall look like Michael Boxall.
That's your tweet. You guys are so mean to Michael Boxall.
I told him not to say it.
I spoke to him last year. Had a good chat.
Yeah,
I funny.
I talked to him last time. Good chat.
It's funny that
he was nice after the game about Phonzies. He just said he's a special.
It's funny though. Somebody
Michael Boxall's quality dude.
But the thing is, he got a lot of too much slack because they had on Twitter somebody tweeted the second goal. And then afterwards, it was another shot at Michael Boxall. Well, Michael Boxall had nothing to do with the second goal. So it was like weird.
The TSN thing.
Somebody was, I can't remember. No, it wasn't TSN. It was somebody else on like a...
okay, but the TSN footage of the actual footage of the game, the second goal goes in.
And they show Michael Boxall.
And they zoom in on Michael Boxall.
Yeah, true.
But his head is down because they've let in a bad goal. But it makes it look like it was his fault.
He was the last one in the box, basically.
But he had nothing to do.
He was farthest away, yeah.
Fonzie's first goal, better of the 2...
Yes.
He walks past defenders on both of them, but definitely, I mean, the little skill to bring it inside and everything was...
And then to go forward
amazing.
and finish it is, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. And then
I don't know, the second goal, he did the similar thing where he almost like, it felt like he bounced the ball.
I thought he'd hit it wide from our angle.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going in.
The blast in the top corner, that was something special too.
I know.
It's hard to say. I don't know which one they're going to nominate for goal of the week if they nominate both. Because if you
should nominate both.
But if you nominate both, you split the vote. People are going to vote one or the other. Some people will.
But
Zlatan one.
The game situation matters to goals. So like the fourth one was like the clincher.
Yeah.
Because actually
you wouldn't have thought you needed that.
I thought that I thought that his DC United away goal was even better than both of those.
Yeah.
But it was not a useless goal, but it was a consolation goal in that game, right?
And it was a nice assist from him for Kamara. On the pitch for about a minute.
Yeah.
I mean that's going to do his confidence.
But before that, Reina made another good assist to get it to Davies. That was a nice pass as well. So you got to give it to Reina.
That was a great break, actually.
And Christian got put in alone too.
Yeah, Teixeira nearly scored. Yeah. I would have loved Waston to hit that Galazzo that he had. From about 30 yards out.
On the after the save on Teixeira's in alone, was it not Reina who tried the what do you call it?
Oh, a little chip, and it was headed off the line.
It wasn't off the, but there wasn't a what do you call those?
I don't know what you're doing with your feet.
The Rabona. Didn't he try a Rabona? You know where you flick your
the guy from U2.
Hang on, I'll show you.
Oh boy, be careful.
No.
We're not supposed to break the equipment.
You know we're on the radio. You demonstrated
this is for you. Rabona. He did a Rabona, wasn't it? Where you kick behind.
I don't know. He still hasn't found what he's looking for. But that's the positives from the game. Got to touch on the disappointments, which was a complete lack of concentration to let 2 goals in 5 minutes.
Yeah, the first goal. I think that was the near post. They called it an own goal for some reason in the media box, which it wasn't.
It was right away. It's like it was Ibsen.
But it was
a lovely little flick.
Little flick. Hurtado wasn't there, so you can't blame it on him. But the flick on and Marinovic just almost got his hands to it.
Yeah, I think
he did get his hands to it.
So I
think he could have done better.
I'm not going to call it laziness on that one. The second one was the one where they switched off because Quintero passed it to his teammate. I don't remember who it was there. And then everybody who was marking Quintero stopped.
Yeah.
But Quintero quit moving, and then he just passed it right away to him. And then Delandali or whatever?
Dunladi,
yeah.
But my problem on the first goal was it kind of started with that amazing save, that mishit cross, and then Mrnjavich made that like the save of the game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So that led to a
save.
corner, but then off the corner, it was really poor clearance. I can't remember
Felipe.
who it was. Was it Felipe? Oh, the little header.
Yes.
Right into the middle. Minnesota had, I think, Schiller had a shot that went out for a corner again, and that's what they scored off of.
Then Laddie nearly got a third in stoppage time as well, which would have
he rounded.
4-3.
Yeah.
That was almost a golazo.
That would have been a beautiful goal. But disappointing. Robbo was not happy with letting that and making it more difficult than it needed to be.
Martin Pert after the game was like, he was walking off the pitch, was like, 4 goals, Martin, you can't smile. He's just like, shaking his head. No.
Well, let's hear from both head coaches now. We're going to hear first from Adrian Heath. Steve went along to the Minnesota locker room. And then from Robbo.
You need to stay up out the streets if you can't take the heat. You need to stay up out the streets if you can't take the heat. Cause it get cold like Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota.
I thought our football was good. Defending was poor. And concentration levels were poor. Indiscipline was poor. But in terms of our possession of the ball and trying to do what we've been asking of them, I was quite pleased with some of it. But as I've said to the players in there, and I will repeat, and I've said it a few times this year, if we keep conceding the goals that we do, we're never going to give ourselves a chance to win games on the road. It's as simple as that. Now, the kid Davies has had a great night and looked what he is. He's a special talent, the kid. But when you look at the first goal, people diving in, not staying on the feet, and then a couple of individual stuff from him, but in between the goals, and I know this sounds silly, I thought we were actually the better team, the better footballing team. But we've got beat 4-2.
And when you say the better footballing team, your team seemed to generate quite a few chances. Quintero, very involved,
yes,
but maybe not the finish tonight. Could you talk about some of those close missed opportunities?
Well, obviously on the road, it's one of the oldest sayings in football. You have to score when you're on top, when you're having your moments on the road. Goals change games. They were. I thought that we were sitting really, really comfortably, and then next minute, Jody Grainer gets a goal from nothing really, and then you're always chasing it a little bit. But when we got it back to 3-2, even then we managed to be 4 against 1, and the guy gets the ball and they end up scoring again. We had 4 defenders against the one guy. So, but we keep making the same mistakes, and I'm sorry, but we can't keep doing it.
You are coming. I know it's disappointing to lose that 3-game winning streak, but is there some solace in the fact that the team didn't give up going down 3-0 and you pulled back within 1?
A little bit, but I expect that. They're an honest bunch, but when I look, if you look at this game today, there's been nothing in it apart from a couple of bits of moments from Alphonso Davies that's changed the course of the game. But we ain't winning too many on the road, conceding 4. That's one thing I do know.
Based on your experience, and obviously you mentioned him as being a special talent, what is your assessment of him, and how do you think he would perform in Europe going forward?
Well, I think that they've handled him really well, but it's amazing. He looks a bit bigger and stronger than I remember him this time last year, But he's got that priceless commodity of that extraordinary pace, and he's got good feet, he's got good balance. I think he's joined the perfect club. I really do. It's one of the best run clubs in the world. I think they'll manage him really well, and the sky's the limit for the kid. I'm really pleased for him. He seems a really nice boy as well.
I know you'll be disappointed, making it difficult for yourself towards the end, but you must be so happy with the way the team performed tonight.
A little bit of mixed emotions. Michael, you're right. I thought the game was a really good game of football. Lots of good players on show, lots of attacking talent. We're getting noses in front. A good goal, then we go quite comfortably ahead. But then we make things a bit difficult for ourselves. Set piece on goal, a little bit of lack of concentration, then they score again. And we start to have a little wobble. But fair credit to the supporters at the 86th minute, because I heard them, and that's what we needed. They got behind us. We just calmed a few nerves. I spoke to Rusty and Felipe about making the game dull, trying to just play basic football, as you call it, and then we get a 4th goal with another bit of magic. The way that the team was playing, I know it's a bit early in the season to say it's a 6-pointer,
But
It was.
Did it kind of feel like that?
Yeah, it was a big game. I spoke to Adrian before the game and after the game and during the game, as you do. And it's a big game. You know, they went ahead of us last week with a fantastic result. The league is very funny. You win games, you lose games. You're high, you're low. And we knew it was a big game, you know, because they're fighting with us in that little for 6th place at the moment. So we knew with a win we could go ahead of them. But the performance was very good. You know, I focused on the performance and it was very good. We get 4 goals, which is great. We don't have a problem scoring goals at home. We need to tidy up on the set piece and the lack of concentration. And the boy had a 3rd chance as well. You know, and if it would have gone in 4-3 and then you're talking 2 minutes left, great for the fans to watch, but not good for managers.
When you see those goals, and particularly the first one, you know, where he's a fake shot and he pulls the ball over with the sole of his foot without breaking stride, what goes through your mind about what you're witnessing?
A good bit of skill. I thought we saw lots of bits of skill on the pitch from a number of players. You look at their boy Quintero, who was a danger every time he got the ball, and Phonzies and Jordi and the Bug were a danger every time they got the ball. So we know he's a wonderful talent. We know he's got ability, he's got potential, but when he keeps playing like that, that's not potential, that's reality. And I know that, but I said to him before the game, I decided to play him. I wanted 2 little bits of freshness with Anthony, who'd done very well as well, set up the 2nd or 3rd goal for us by winning the ball back high up the field. But to play simple, I think the first 20 minutes was as bad as I've seen him play, because I think the emotions of the week or 2 weeks that he's had just takes its toll on young players. But so I kept him on, and I'm glad I did because he got the 4th goal.
Yeah. We talked pre-season about Phonzies getting attention from other players, wanting protection from referees for him. After a performance like this and everything that's going with it, are you concerned players will target him?
Yeah, 100%. But hopefully people do the jobs correctly and, you know, protect him. We want the good players in the league. We talk about the Villas, the Javinkos, the Almirons, the Martinez. Phonzies in that category. You know, we know that. We're just talking about a record transfer fee for the football club in Major League Soccer from an unbelievable football club in Bayern Munich. So they see the potential, and when you see like that, I actually think they've got a snip.
Should have waited a week.
Yeah, maybe.
He's the gaffer. You can try it on with him. He's the gaffer. Even when he's on a limb. He's the gaffer. When his back's against the wall, has the answer to it all. He's the gaffer.
The Gaffers there, just talking about Saturday's match, Whitecaps against Minnesota. And joking at the end there with Robbo, but yeah, maybe they should have waited a week. They could have got at least an extra 4 or 5 million for Phonzies.
I tweeted that out after the first goal. Can we get 26?
No, I said the same thing to Rob after the game. Was like, so did you miss out on 5 million? 4 or 5
and as
million.
Robbo said there, it was a snip, which I didn't know that.
No one knows.
Yeah.
Obviously, he just said that for me. But anyway, we'll be back with some more Whitecaps chat after this.
Hi, I'm Jake Nowinski, and you're listening to the AFTN Soccer Show.
Luftballons by Nena.
Yeah, and the thing is with that song, and it comes into my life once in a while, and today it did, because I was setting this song up, and the thing is, once I hear that once, I'm constantly singing it all day long. So my kids are listening to me singing that all day long around the house.
Well, it's 12:06 a.m. So
Yeah.
you could have a long day of singing.
It's a very catchy song.
Yeah.
And
Natürlich.
But we'll reveal this to Zach now. We've been planning this German show the whole week. Our initial plan was to bring in 99 red balloons into the studio.
It was going to be too much of a hassle.
He was going to get his kids to blow them up.
Did you see the... Oh, I'll tell you about it.
It was more getting from the car. I just imagined it was going to be like a scene from Up, and we're going to just see Steve floating above.
You would have had to blow them up in here.
And if we're doing a German show, we shouldn't be blowing anything up.
We shouldn't be.
But continuing our German theme, we're gonna bring you two wavelengths tonight, and the first one we're bringing you now. It's from an English band called The
Wait,
Business.
what? This is not a German show.
It's a song about England playing Germany.
Let me guess. There's either the World Cup or the World Cup qualifier. It's one or the other.
This song is simply called England 5, Germany 1.
Biggest loss since 1931. England 5, Germany 1. Michael Owen is number 1. England 5, Germany 1. Michael Owen is number 1. Beckenbauer and Voller thought they seen it all. Stephen Morgan, Wimble and Golden Balls. Running rings ran you. Nothing you could do. England's glory, we chase the story.
Okay, so that was a World Cup qualifier.
Yes.
Right. So, and then that was for the 2002 World Cup.
Yes.
Yeah. And how did England do in the 2002 World Cup?
Did they not lose in the group stages?
They lost, I believe, on a long distance free kick from Ronaldinho, I believe. You remember that one that floated into the top corner? You don't remember that? Anyways, it was either the round of 16 or quarterfinals. Germany was a finalist that year, so.
I never thought I would play that song in Wavelength.
I never seen you so happy to celebrate something English in my life.
I think you like the song itself.
It's very catchy. I was celebrating Michael Owen.
Right.
Because he was almost a Whitecap. During Martin Rennie's days, Rennie approached him to come here, and he was very, very close to signing, and then just decided at the last minute not to come.
He popped a hamstring, probably.
Yeah, I think the turf had a lot to do with it.
There's been a couple of German strikers who have almost come to the Whitecaps.
Yeah.
One with a...
Rob Friend.
He's Canadian.
Oh, but no, we played each other.
I'm talking about Germans there, Steve.
Rob Friend.
Rob Freund would be how you say it. No, one of them actually with a Bayern connection.
Yes, indeed. But we can't talk about that.
I've never talked to you about this, I don't think.
He knows about it.
I don't. Okay.
I told you about it.
We
are talking about the same person.
And then Zach told me about it.
No, I didn't tell you.
No, who told about it?
I've never told either of you about this.
Oh, okay. Anyway.
Let's talk about this at the next break.
Yeah. That was The Business there from their 2003 album, Hardcore Hooligan, setting up nicely next week, which is the start of Football Violence Awareness Month.
It seems like it's Football Awareness Year.
I have my pen.
What does it say on your page?
Hooligan pride.
Oh. Oh my goodness.
Anyway, let's get back to some more Whitecaps chat.
Would you wear
I'll
that?
wear my Subbuteo hooligan t-shirt next week. You're not here next week.
I thought you were going to wear your 1938 Germany kit.
I can't get hold of that. I've got it on back order.
Oh man!
I think it got seized at the border. But I keep getting lots of emails now from Trump.
It's weird.
Anyway, let's get into some Whitecaps chat in this section. And we're going to bring you an interview shortly with Daniil Henry as well. One of my favourite interviews I've done this year, Zach.
He's turned around on him.
Yeah.
Daniil is
totally.
great.
Yeah.
He's great.
He is having a fantastic season. The defence, though, not so much. Another 2 goals given up.
But again,
at least
like
this
I
time we
said,
scored 3.
Yeah.
Which I keep saying we have to do apparently now to
I'm telling you, that should be
4.
the opening chant of the game.
Give us our 3
Give
goals.
us 3 more
Give us our 3
goals.
Michael, they got 4 goals, man.
Yeah.
2 on. They got
But
6
they
in 2
only needed
games.
3.
They got 6 in 2 games. There
That's
you go.
average of 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they did give up 2. It
Over
doesn't
2
seem to
games, average
matter.
of 1.
1.5.
But only one was a league game.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't seem to matter who's in.
But none of the goals from outside the box. Can we agree on that? That's
Yes.
We're trying to find silver linings everywhere.
Yeah, silver
Only
lining.
because Dunleary curled that one just past.
Apparently, Alphonso scored no own goals, so we're all
Yeah,
good.
so we're good. And we finished the game with 11 players, so things are looking up. And Jake Nerwinski
Would that be
did
considered-
have a great game.
If
Oh, he did.
Going
He did.
forward,
Yeah, he did.
Alphonso scored. If he scored an own goal, would that be considered a hat trick?
I don't know. No, it would not.
No, okay.
But what's the solution to the defence? It doesn't seem, no matter what they do, they just cannot stop giving goals up. Doesn't matter who's playing, they're giving up goals.
Okay, so 2 things about this week. One is they kept a clean sheet in a cup game where they needed to keep a clean sheet, and that was a very, very positive step forward. The same back 4 started again at the weekend in the league match.
And they must have been tired.
No, okay.
They would have been because it was so hot.
I know it's not an excuse, but they gave up 2 goals when they were up 3-0.
Yes.
Which is not acceptable, but at least it's a far better scenario, and at least they finished the game off well.
And the thing is,
That's like saying I shat the bed, but it's okay because I had a plastic sheet on.
That's not at all.
And the
like
thing is, yeah, that's completely
That well-known phrase.
No.
It's like the snip thing. Okay.
But the thing is, the other thing is they didn't give up goals in the last 5 minutes of the half or the first 5 minutes of the second half, where they
were at the end of the
yeah. So it was near the end of the game where yes, it was squeaky bum time, but they were able to get it over.
I didn't say this earlier, but when Reina was making that run down the pitch at the end of the game when it was 3-2, and even when he passed Alphonso, I was thinking, oh, maybe they'll take it to the quarter. I'm glad he didn't.
Yeah.
Got a tweet here from Angus Walker who says, before Wednesday I predicted a side that I didn't think he'd pick, but picked players in their proper positions. Robbo pretty much picked the same team and they won. It's all about, he feels, playing players in their proper positions.
Okay.
But, in saying that, the defenders are playing in their proper positions and they can't defend.
I think, like I said, I think this was like also, remember, like, I think it was mentioned in the post game somewhere that they, by Robbo possibly, that they were playing 3 games in a week.
Yeah.
And it was a lot. And so at the end, they did switch off. Like I said, the first goal, like I said, that was just just happened to happen.
But when
that
when
was
it
like
got
a
to
good,
3-2,
that was a good bounce.
you fancied Minnesota to go and get the third.
I know you did.
You did, yeah.
Mr. Pessimist here.
But
yeah.
it was the second goal where they were clearly showed that they were dead on their feet. They just shut down during that one time. But
I'm a member of the Pessimist Union. I have my poo badge.
I know how it is frustrating, especially for the coaches and probably for the players to continue to concede. But again, I think situationally, you have to not be okay with it.
Yeah.
But I think there has to be at least some kind of positive way to view this. Of course, when you look at the season and it's 43 or 40 plus goals, they've conceded already. It's not a good thing.
But you can't do anything about it because those goals you gave up in the past.
You got to move forward. I think this back 4 is probably the way to go.
I think so too. But
will
Kendall,
it be the back 4 next week?
No.
Because Kendall's now suspended.
I'm sure.
Henry and Aha is obviously going to be the
I wonder if he still makes the trip because his mom's out there. But I wouldn't be surprised if his whole family already booked the trip.
I did wonder if he got it on purpose because I do wonder if they're maybe going to just write off next week's game.
Oh, because of the V's Cup.
Yeah, because of the V Cup. Get some players. Some
I was thinking
time.
Gary Kingston should have made a bet with him this year for the yellow cards.
But yeah, it looks like it's probably going to be Henry and Aha. Henry has been excellent.
Outstanding.
I totally... At the start of the season...
there have been moments where he has been off.
There was a handball in Seattle.
Well, no, even the
first 20 minutes of the Seattle game
he was
not good
awful.
for Henry. But on the whole, he's been good.
Oh, very good, yeah.
I said when he came here, I wasn't a fan of his from previous games that I'd seen. But if a club like West Ham is signing him, he obviously has something. And I said, I hope he proves me wrong.
Because Michael loves the hammers. The irons.
That may get mentioned a couple of times in the interview we're about to hear. So I had a good sit-down chat with Daniil at training on Friday, talking about loads of things, why he's here, his hopes for this season, thoughts on the season, and his plans for the future.
So Daniil, I know it was a bit of a tough start with the injury and everything, but how are you feeling just now? Do you feel you're back in the groove and back to your best?
I wouldn't say I'm at my best yet. I'm finding my groove, definitely. I'm getting more comfortable. My body's responding really well right now, so I'll just continue with the momentum and playing really well. Some good football right now. Obviously the results haven't gone our way all the time, but individually I feel like I'm getting to a place where a level exactly of where I want to be. And I know that with more games and more wins, the confidence will definitely keep coming.
What was behind the decision to come back to MLS? Obviously, you'd gone over to West Ham. I'm a West Ham fan. You'd gone over there. A lot of players would have decided to stay in Europe and try to maybe establish yourself in a lower league. But what made you want to come back here?
The reason why I came back is I was injured, with my visa being the only reason why I had to come back.
Right.
I said that I needed to come back, get fit, and I just knew that my next move would have to be my best move. I know that this is a growing league and that if I come back and I dominate, the amount of football exposure that is getting, the MLS is getting around the world is amazing. I know that if I come back, have a good season or two, stay fit and healthy, I can show everybody that not only that I can play good football, but I'm not injury prone. So coming here, know Robert really well and him wanting to have me, I trust him. I need to find a coach that trusts in me and knows what I can do. So I thought that was the right move, and he has an amazing medical staff here. So I knew that with all the tools put together, I knew that this would be a good move for me.
I mean, talking about the injuries, when you went down pre-season, you must have thought, oh no, not again. What's happening here?
When you do your ACL, they always say that there's just a curse. It's always something that's going to come following it. Just because your body's been out for so long, so the demand on your body. It wasn't a bad injury or anything. It was just a little hamstring strain, but it just means that I need to do more conditioning work. So basically, I just took the 6 weeks to do more conditioning and get my body into better shape. And then after I was done that, I went on loan to Ottawa and I got some games where I was sharp, but I wasn't game sharp. And Ottawa helped me get to the match fitness that I need to come back and help Vancouver win games here.
I mean, we've had players before that's been put out on loan or even just like you in Ottawa to get fit. They don't embrace that and they kind of see that they've gone down a level, but you seem to really embrace it there and you made the team better when you went there. Did you feel that was your big chance to show Robbo, look, I should be a starter here?
So a lot of guys worry about what people have to say too much. I do what's best for my career and I'll do what's best for me going forward. A level down, but I'd rather go down a level and play games week in, week out than be attached to somewhere where you're not going to play. At the end of the day, you're going there to get fitness and you're going there to get games. It's nothing more. I go there with the right mentality to help improve them too, as much as I'm going there to improve myself. And the boys responded well off of me, and the energy and the positive vibes that was brought to me by Ottawa and their coaching staff and the players was top class. So it really made me want to even work more harder and work for them because there's a great bunch of guys.
But when you're coming to a club like this, you know Kendall's basically a guaranteed starter. When you were signed though, like Tim Parker was still here, Aaron Mond, and then they brought in Jose Aja,
you're a confident guy. You believe in your own abilities. I know that from seeing you play and speaking in the past. But did you ever have an inkling of doubt that you maybe shouldn't have come here because there were so many things, or does that just drive you on to become a starter?
I've been fifth or sixth string at West Ham, and players always say, maybe why am I this far behind or whatever. I never had a doubt. I was there for a reason, and if it wasn't for my injuries, I would probably still be there or another club. I've gone on loan to Blackburn, done really well in the championship, then got injured. I know I have quality, and I am a confident guy, and I knew that if I came here, I would definitely be a starter. So I just needed to get the opportunity to show it, and when I got my chance, I got to keep it.
I mean, talking of which, it looks like you have established yourself as the starter now beside Kendall. Just speak a little bit about the relationship that you've got with him on the pitch.
Yeah, we the energy that he brings, we kind of feed off of each other. I find like me and Kendall have a lot of similarities in the aggression and the passion that we both bring. Kendall plays, and his vibe and his attitude as an individual transforms into the game, and a lot of guys transcend off of it and feed off of that energy. He's a leader and captain because of exactly who he is. What you see is what you get, and he'll give you that. And Kendall is a guy who will completely just give his soul, his body, everything, put it on the line to help this team get a good clean sheet. So definitely, I feel that we kind of feed off of each other. We definitely are guys who will back each other 100%, and I know that he always has my back and I'll always have his back. So, no, besides that and the cool collectiveness, I feel like I'm a good passer, and I like to get involved on the passing side of the game too. But we both will get into tackles and know that we'll definitely win.
As I said, I'm a West Ham fan. How did that move come about? I mean, I know you kind of had that weird thing in Cyprus, but I mean, for a Canadian player to go over to Europe and to go into the Premiership, it's been quite rare.
Yeah, I got an opportunity to train with West Ham in my off season, and it was just a training stint. It wasn't a trial. It was just to see what the level is like, and I just wanted to see what's the difference between the MLS level and the Premier League level. I always said, I always wanted to be there. This is my dream. So I didn't think anything of it, but I went in there with the right mentality to train hard and work, And I went there and I killed it. I trained really well, and after my training stint, I was only supposed to be there for a week. I ended up staying almost a month, and I basically had the impression in my head that I was going right back. And obviously it didn't happen that way because of caps, and then obviously being a Canadian and not being ranked high enough, you know what I mean? But the grace of God, I was able to go there and play and live my dreams. Obviously, it was short-lived, and I didn't feel like I accomplished it. But the experiences and the lesson that I learned going over there in football definitely helped me get stronger. I'm 25 years old now. I went there when I was about 21 or 22, and those lessons will be vital in wherever I go next and what I do for the rest of my footballing career.
Just very last thing, obviously all the buzz this week's about Phonzies going over to Europe. What would be your advice to a young guy like that? Because over there it's totally different. There's so much scrutiny, the press are brutal at times. I mean, what would be your advice to him? Just embrace the whole experience and embrace the culture?
Yeah, besides that, I want everybody to kind of stay out of his way. He doesn't need too many people trying to get involved in what's going on. He just needs to go there and play football. The kid can play. The media and all of that stuff, it's fine. It's a part of his job. He understands that. I just hope that there's not too much people in his ear. Just let the boy play. He's still young. I'm very happy that he's going to Germany. It's a disciplined country. The way they play and how they develop their players, he's going to soak it all up like a sponge, and he's playing with the top guys in that country. It's perfect for him. He understands what is in front of him. He's come a long way, and even me is still getting to know Phonzies' story. He deserves everything that he has, and I hope that he's definitely making his parents proud and his family proud. To me, Phonzies keeps his head down, he works. Everybody stay out of his way, because the more people you kind of have around you, you don't know who's real and who's fake and who really wants the best for you and who's trying to make money off of you. And football is a crazy sport. Yeah. And when you turn a professional, it's not always about football, and that's the crazy thing. So I just wish him the best, and I know that he'll be all right because he's a clued up young boy.
That's great. Thanks so much for your time today, Neil, and good luck the rest of the season. Thanks, man. Daniel Henry there. Some good stuff from him. I like what he said about Phonzie. He just needs to get there, just do his thing, not have too many folk in his ear.
Yeah.
Just do what he needs to do. It is going to be interesting to see if he hangs around past this season. I think, from what he said there, he would like to go back to Europe. It does seem like it's a short-term signing for the season, but maybe for 2. I think the injuries maybe derailed his plans a little bit.
I think it'd be wise for him to do 2 just because you don't want to jump back into Europe on the first offer. Unless he's okay with that.
We heard earlier in the show that the Whitecaps are looking to move players out so that they can bring new players in. Even if they're aware of his intentions, I don't think he would be someone at the top of their list to move out based on the season.
Kendall might be though, because they
could get something for him.
Yeah.
Probably.
He's only 25 too right now, Daniel. So
he's in a bit of a good other side for maybe the 20 minutes in Seattle order. He's in a good run of form.
Yeah, he's definitely the starter beside Kendall.
Yeah. And I was really grateful for him. He led the Humba after the win the weekend.
To fully embrace that.
And he was just really awesome for it. Like, just really great. And like, because we often will say to the player, just say, greet the people how you want, like say whatever. And he had lots to say. And then after it was all over, he came back and just said, we really appreciate your support and blah blah blah. Those kind of sentiments. And like, yeah, it was really awesome.
I genuinely did enjoy chatting to him on Friday. He is a confident guy, but I like that in a player because you have to be, otherwise other players all like pick you apart. Him and Kendall together do look like a solid partnership.
Yeah.
I know this is crazy with the way it's worked. I'd like to see Aha and them as a 3 in the back or a 5 at the back.
Yeah.
I think that would really work in some games.
It might be needed if the Whitecaps make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Just practice it before you use it.
That's the problem. It's like you need to get a bit of practice. Maybe 3 at the back against New York with Armand in there.
Oh, there you go.
But yeah, next week in New York, it's going to be a tough thing. We'll cover the MLS week in the next part. Another player that they will be missing next week, we missed him on Saturday, was Effie Juarez. We missed him on the pitch as he wasn't in the starting lineup.
I don't think a lot of people missed him.
Before folk jump on that.
Okay, remind me, I was forgetting that. He got subbed on in the Wednesday game.
Subbed on when Ali Ghazal
got injured.
Got a knock on Wednesday night.
Any word on Ali Ghazal?
No, because he also got a knock then, of course, on Saturday.
Yeah. Any word on that? No word on that.
After
right?
the game, they just said they were going to check in. They hope it's not too bad.
So when Juarez came on, he received.
There was very audible boos.
Well, yeah, it was. He received. I think people expressed how they felt about his red card in Seattle.
Was it stadium wide, or was it coming more from the south side, or was it?
Well, it's hard to tell from where we sat.
The Curve Collective was in the south side with the Southsiders that night in the intersection, and it was very noticeable and very audible, and it felt like it wasn't the main supporting section of the Southsiders. It was not just from there. Yeah, it was like everywhere.
There was an initial boo, and then the cheering started when Ghazal was walking back. So,
yeah, it was a little awkward moment.
He spoke on Monday. He was very contrite. I genuinely believe what he said.
Wait,
from the heart.
Wait, okay. You believe what he said in terms of his momentum took him into the referee?
I know about his passion and how he goes blind sometimes.
But the thing is, he says he's going to change, but he's 30 years old. He should be. This is something
I don't think you can change.
No.
It's like me when I'm driving.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, yeah. I saw you driving on the way here today.
Yeah, let's not go into that.
But I think he's obviously he needs to tone it down, but he's not going to change fully.
No.
No, that was the problem with that.
You can't bump a ref.
Yeah, that was the problem with that sending off. It was not even. It didn't even feel like red mist. It just felt like utter foolishness by someone who knows better.
The bit about the momentum, I don't know, because when you watch it, he did look like he had time to stop.
Yes.
But I think when he's talking about that, he means his brain was not going to let him stop because his brain was just taking him straight to the ref.
The old brain momentum.
Yes. That famous thing. 3 game suspension. I was expecting 2.
No, I was expecting 3.
I thought I was giving it 4 additional games, to the 1.
Well, Zach was right.
No, because
he's good at some things, just not like World Cup pools or that card game that you did in the off season.
I think fans will come around. Because
do you though?
Yes, I do. Because people do start forgetting and stuff. Even the game he comes back for, if he obviously might play against TFC.
I think. Yes.
So
Right.
that'll be interesting to see how that is. But I do think fans are somewhat forgiving. I think he deserved the booing for the first game he played after that.
So a couple of things. Even though he got the negative reception for what he, in response to his transgressions in Seattle, I don't blame Robbo for using him in that game, right? Like, if your guy's suspended in the league, why not use him in the cup, especially if, I didn't really have a problem, and I bet you we'll see him in the
I would actually have started him on Wednesday, but I guess that would have sent a bad message.
No, and that was good that he didn't start. But I would not be surprised to see him on Wednesday in the home leg on August 8th.
That would make a lot of sense, actually. I just think there's some fans he's not going to win round. So
well, clearly, people again on social media, which can be a crazy place, are saying, "I don't want to see him for the rest of the season, and then he should be gone." Like, there's been a strong response.
Yeah, and the Whitecaps knew what the ban was, and they still played him on Wednesday. So he's not going to play. So that's not going to be part of it. And folks seem to have forgiven Christian Teixeira easily enough. So yeah, you can weigh those things up as to what one is worse.
Okay. Taking the incidents aside, Juarez is new here. He doesn't have like stuff to fall back on. He doesn't have, but he, whereas Christian Teixeira has a history here of giving a lot in different seasons, different campaigns, the Champions League run, whatever. That's without talking about what each individual did, but.
Well, the thing is, at this time, it's a busy schedule. You can't afford to lose any players. We don't know Ali Ghazal's status. Stefan Marinovic seems okay. Some folk were a little bit worried, but I don't think there was much in that.
A little time wasting?
Yeah,
maybe?
Let's just put it that way. Jordan Much went for an MRI on the bottom of his foot this week. Not had an update back as to what the outcome of that was, but he was kind of joking around at training in the gym on Friday, so fingers crossed it's not too bad. Just have to worry really about his health going forward, playing on turf pitches and stuff.
For me, but I think that the Felipe and Tybert is the solid starting going forward for the next little bit, especially with the injuries that you called.
Felipe's an interesting one because he didn't start yesterday and he was doing laps at training on Thursday, so he must have had a little bit of a knock.
And Rusty has looked really good.
Yeah.
And the record with him in the lineup is like 5 wins.
I think 1 loss. 1 or 2.
No, I think 1 draw and 2 losses.
Yeah, I never know how I never know how you guys list it here. So 1 loss and 2 draws, or 2 losses and 1 draw.
Yeah.
But
his stats in those games have been very good too.
But Whitecaps are going to need everyone they can because the MLS West is the playoffs. Even though they won, it's kind of slipping away a little bit. And we'll have a quick look at the MLS West after this.
Hey, it's Stefan Marinovic, and you're listening to the AFTN Soccer Show.
I love your blonde hair, I kiss your pigtails, and I could not share the scratch of your nails. And though you mark me, you're so glassy. Oh, why did you have to be so naughty? Remember the curls of the Deutsche girl. Down the line.
Adam and the Ants, Deutsche Girls. That was their first ever song on vinyl from the Jubilee soundtrack.
That's all we need to know. I don't want to know any more about that. So.
Great film. Check it out. So in this part of the show, we're looking at the MLS Week in Review. Saturday night's win saw the Caps leapfrog over Minnesota and Houston into 7th. 2 points off the playoffs. 4 points to 5th place now. 5 points off fourth. It's less and less spots are kind of looking likely that we can challenge for, as the other teams are kind of just, it feels like they're pulling away. Want to kick things off with the LA Derby though. I really enjoyed that on Thursday. 2-2. Felt like a different league at times than some of the games that we've seen the Whitecaps playing. I don't really like the Galaxy, but you have to tip your hat to their fighting spirit in these derbies. They've come back now twice
against
in the
LAFC,
two derbies, yeah. And
this wasn't as spectacular as the first one, but it's still, they got through.
I don't know how LAFC gave that up.
I know.
That was crazy. But you've got to feel both of them are playoff bound, so the result didn't really affect us too much. Moving on to the weekend's action. DC, Colorado. Wayne Rooney finally gets off the mark in the first half. No doubt that's going to win the MLS Goal of the Week.
And then he got his face marked up afterwards.
Yeah.
Busted open.
No. Shrek scores, making his old pal look like a donkey.
You were asking me what happened to his face. I explained it. He was born that way.
No, like Steve, you said, it was one Colorado defender ran into his teammate whose face, back of his head, bashed into Rooney's face.
Yeah.
The Rapids, they look like they'd end a point. I mean, they still look such a poor team. They look like they tied it up with 8 minutes to go. Kellen Acosta.
Newly acquired. We're going to mention that later.
Stoppage time, though. Nicky Jackson, own goal. Never heard of the guy.
It was a horrible, horrible goal.
That's the one where the investigation of whether something is going on here has to be done.
Colorado, that should be the end of their season now, I think, yeah. KC and Dallas, it was third host and first going into that, but KC are on a bit of a downward slide right now. You're talking to teams that look certainties to the playoffs. These two teams should be, but KC are in a little bit of a slump. No wins in 5 for them now, just 1 point from those matches.
So one of the things we've heard about Dallas in the past, the struggles that they've had, is their players have literally stopped performing for them because the club has held them captive.
Yeah.
And so one of those people you just mentioned is now gone. Kellen Acosta, who had hopes to go to abroad, who they didn't get the valuation that they'd hoped for him, and so they kept him, is now at Colorado. Who knows for how long? Scored against the DC. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
That's a weird move for a guy like Acosta.
Yeah. So you got to think it's just a short-term situation.
Like an Alan Rashat to DC United, maybe.
Oh, please, let's.
Is Kellen's wife pregnant?
Oh man. Anyway, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see what's going on in Dallas this year. What's going on with their mentality and their approach, and
they're looking good though. Michael Barrios hat trick. Yeah. It's his first goals of the year, which is a nice way to.
You might as well get them all off in one game.
Yeah. Now he could be up for Player of the Week, challenging Phonzies, but I think there might be another guy that might be up challenging Phonzies. Yeah. We'll come to that. San Jose and RSL. Don't have to say too much. Two poor teams, pretty poor game, no goals.
No Pecky.
San Jose, no wins now in 12. We play them twice in August. Is that a good thing for us, or the way that we've been doing?
No, that's the problem.
Teams?
That might not be good in that sense. But
they have got 5 draws in those 12 games.
Well, you look, it was like the weekend before. Like Seattle finally got their first ever win at Avaya. Yeah. And I think their second win in San Jose.
And their first clean sheet the next game against us. Yeah. So we make these teams look good.
No, but like San Jose is really poor. So looking ahead to those games, you know that the coaching staff will have those marked down as games they absolutely have to win.
RSL, though, are the team that you have to feel the Whitecaps have to gun for. They're clinging on to that 6th playoff spot.
Yeah.
Depends if you want to be half full or half empty. They've got 3 losses in a row. Well, they're winless in 3, but they've got 1 loss in 5, depending on how you want to look at it. But that's got to be the team that they're going for.
That's good math.
Portland and Houston. Fernando Adi. Zach's tip for the Golden Boot this year when we did our pre-season predictions. And that's not like Zach to be wrong when he's doing predictions. His last goal as a Timber. He's after being on the bench for most of the year. Blanco opened the scoring for Portland in the 7th minute.
Oh, my God.
5 minutes later, Kyoto tied things up. Portland left it late, 10 minutes to go. Ari's got the goal, a bit of a scramble. I think I could have put that one away if I was in the box at that point. It's what good marksmen do, though. And it looks like on Monday he's going to be announced at FC Cincinnati.
Yeah, it was broken by Taylor Twellman, I think, earlier.
Yeah,
today.
he pissed on Cincinnati's parade. I don't like that. They've got their big announcement tomorrow.
What?
Revealing their first 2 MLS rostered players.
He's a
I just don't
reporter.
like Taylor
He's a reporter, and he's supposed to announce
Is he?
it.
He's an annoyance.
A lot of people would.
So I guess we won't be having him on the guest.
Guess we'll be talking about Curtis Larson in part 5.
Oh.
But yeah, Cincinnati's going to announce Adi and Fatai Lashi as their first 2 MLS rostered players. Alan Koch building his team.
So Cincinnati must be giving something up to Portland for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
future
Whether
allocation money
or future allocation money, maybe a draft pick, maybe they'll promise not to take anybody off their roster when the expansion
Maybe.
draft. So something's got to be up there.
It's got to be more than that, you'd think.
Whitecaps were rumoured to be in for him. He was never going to come here
No.
because Timbers are never going to
But
sell
Zach-
to a rival.
But Zach, if Portland didn't want him and were trying to get him off the roster so they could bring other people in, that's all that maybe they want for him. That they just wanted to get rid of his salary.
I just-
A player with a
just don't want
pedigree.
him in the West.
No, but that's part of it. But the player with that kind of pedigree over the last 3 seasons, and the contract that he's on, there's no way you just give that away for not taking. There's got my opinion, Steve. They got to get.
Well, I'm sure
more
there'll
than
be something there additional, but I think that was the main thing that they
It
maybe
could be future considerations
Yeah.
or something.
Well, let's get to the neighbors up north from Portland.
2 games today. The other Cascadian team, we have kickstarted their season.
Yeah, it seems like it.
3 wins in a row now.
We helped them turn the corner.
Starting with us, although they are undefeated in 6 now.
Okay.
They're 3 points behind the Caps with a game in hand. They are looking in form. They comfortably saw off New York City, but it was a crappy New York City team that was
But
out
New York
there.
City came close to scoring on a couple occasions.
Well, they did score 1.
Yeah, but they, no, I mean,
Yeah.
the
It was
the scoring
3-1.
that
It wasn't
a couple times.
They
I
were
think,
comfortable
if I'm
without
mistaken.
being dominant, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. Roldan, Svensson, Ship got the goals, but
Oh, Svensson's shot was nice.
yeah. That was a lovely one
Yeah.
from the edge of the box.
Outside the box, yeah.
The team that we play in New York next Saturday is not going to be the team that was
Wait,
on
did
the
I
pitch
just say a
at
goal
Central
from a
Link.
flounder was nice?
Yeah.
What is wrong with me? I must be sick. I must have a fever.
I didn't want to say anything there.
You're looking flush.
Yeah.
I thought I might just let it slide down. Nobody would notice.
I need some medication or something.
You might be
So
catching.
I think Brian Schmetzer might as well because he said that his team deserves to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think both of them are catching the Buell.
The Buell. The Buell fuel?
Yeah.
Flu?
The other game tonight, what a game. Game of the weekend. 4-3, LA Galaxy. End-to-end stuff. A shootout.
It was
Zlatan hat-trick.
They came back 3 times from 1 goal down, and then they took the lead in a bit.
You know Zlatan's going to win Player of the Week now instead of Phonzies.
No, he should not.
He shouldn't, but he's going to.
Yeah, okay.
Because he's Zlatan.
But Phonzie is bigger news this week. It's
Yeah.
like a double-double.
Well, he got 2 and 2.
It's double-double, 22 mil. Like, come on. How can you go wrong with that?
2-2,
It's all
2-2.
twos. All twos.
Oh, I did never think of that earlier. LA's defence looks as shocking as ours, and they're not the only team in the league. There's a few dodgy defences out there right now. It looks like there's a few teams need to score multiple goals just to have any chance of getting the 3 points. Week coming up is All-Star Week, which regular listeners will know that we can't usually be bothered with. Although if we hosted it here, I would...
Well, when it was in Cascadia, it was down in Portland.
Nah, if we held it at a BC place, I would be more interested.
Sean Melvin.
Yeah, Sean Melvin's away down for the homegrown game, which is weird since he hasn't played a single minute for the Whitecaps.
It's based on potential.
I know, but he's going to be a little bit...
Will he get minutes? Is he? Is
there's only 2 subs, so he should get a half.
2 keepers. Only 2
Yeah.
keepers.
Two keepers.
You said 2 subs.
Oh, yeah, sorry, two keepers, so yeah, he should get a half. And then I think we've got a guy that's in the main homegrown game.
Bayern Munich has a guy in the...
Oh, but yeah, Bayern's got their player. Fonzie, his all-star debut, he was Don Garber's special commissioner's pick.
It's like if you're Juventus and you're like, hey, in the Champions League this year we don't have to face a full-strength Bayern. You can Here's a free opportunity to have a go at one of their players now. Like, what? Seriously, what's the suspension from injuring a guy in an All-Star game?
And Juventus were interested in him at one point. They had scouts over in Wales watching him. So
they decided to go for Ronaldo instead, I guess. Big mistake.
They're missing out.
Yeah.
Phonzie might sell a few less shirts.
Yeah. It's going to be an absolute zoo media-wise for Phonzie down there. We were talking about this yesterday. I feel sorry for the kid because he's just going to have so much attention.
Have you warned him which MLS people to stay away from?
All of them. Just talk to me, I said.
Yeah, just like don't talk to Doyle.
I'll do Doyle
hates the Whitecaps. Don't talk to him. Andrew Wiebe, I don't have nice things to say, so I won't say it anymore. But like,
let's move on to the Canadian Championship. We now play TFC, which we won't preview that just now, obviously, but there had been rumours that Robbo's job may have been on the line if they didn't win on Wednesday. That's off the table now, I think.
Yeah, for now.
Pretty strong team. TFC, though, I mean, they got their win against Chicago, who looked pretty poor.
Yeah.
That's 2 wins in a row against Chicago, right?
Yeah. There's still 6 points. Yeah. They're still 6 points off the playoff spot, but it's within grasp.
Yeah.
Will they take the Canadian Championship seriously?
I think they might kind of balance it more instead of going full out on for it.
I think they might do in the first leg what we did in Montreal.
Oh, yeah.
And hope to try and sneak a goal or just come away with a 1-goal deficit.
Numerous times I've been told in the past, it's all about when you're the home team, you play a strong squad. On the road, you mix it up, or depending on,
I like us being on the road in the second leg, though. I think that plays to our strengths. Get the away goal.
Unless things don't go well in the first leg, which you got to think they're going to play a strong squad in
the first game,
in the first game here. But it'll be interesting. In terms of Toronto, though, you got to think, even though publicly they would never say this, they're still not saying it. This is like, you feel like they need to win this so that they have something from this year other than making the final.
Do they want to start off next year in this Champions League again when it's derailed them totally this year?
2 things about that. One is I think you want that culture in your club. We are in the Champions League every year, every February, whatever. We are in it. The second thing is you get more TAM.
Yes.
And so Toronto loves TAM like no other. And so, because they use it, I think I see them wanting to win this really bad.
It's the battle for TAM.
Anyway, we'll be back with some more chat after this.
Hi, I'm Carl Robinson. You're listening to the AFTN podcast.
I like digging holes and hiding things inside them. When I grow old, I hope I won't forget to find them. 'Cause I've got memories and travel like gypsies in the night. I build a home and wait for someone to tear it down. Then pack it up in boxes, head for the next time running. 'Cause I've got memories and travel.
Welcome back. You're listening to the AFTN Soccer Show on CITR Radio. So tell us, Steve, that was your selection. How does that fit into our German theme?
It kind of fits because it kind of fits with what Alphonso kind of went through. Alice Merton, who sang the song, it's called No Roots. She is German-born. She moved to Canada at a young age, and at 16, 17 years old, she moved back to Germany.
Ah.
So
just like Alphonso.
Yeah, and then obviously Alphonso moved from Ghana, which starts with a G, Germany.
So this final part, we're just going to go around the world with some football chat, and then we're going to finish the show with our second wavelength of the night. You're going to like this one, Zach. It's Bayern related.
Wait, I thought... I told you I want to bring in Bayern song.
Well, I've got
this is
one.
related.
This might be.
This is probably like Bayern adjacent or something.
No,
this is, okay.
It's a song about Bayern.
Oh, it's about Bayern. Okay.
Anyway, let's kick things off with Calgary Foothills. Well, they had their PDL semi-final on Saturday. 1-0 win over Chicago FC United, which is a terrible name for a team. 1,250 folk came out for it. Is that concerning for CPL or is it PDL? So
no, it's just the venue.
The venue is in the middle of nowhere. Yeah.
Well, so but the CPL one is.
Former Whitecap Ali Musi scored the winner in the 57th minute.
Musi.
former residency player, not Whitecap. Totally.
Well, still.
Whitecap's
still a
residency?
Whitecap. They now play Reading
Future Whitecap
United,
Academy.
which looks to be in Pennsylvania next Saturday. Calgary have only lost one game all season. That was to TSS Rovers.
Ooh, that means we can claim the title.
Yes.
Steve, I believe that was thanks to an error by Tommy Wilden Jr.'s brother, Jay, who has gone on to play a very significant role, I'm told.
Yeah, they've kept so many clean sheets. I think Marco Carducci's had 10 clean sheets in a row now.
He's gone 625 minutes straight without conceding a goal.
Was that including the semi?
Yes.
Or? Wow. Reading United, though, who they're playing, are undefeated. So it should be a cracking final. Next Saturday, 5 p.m. Pacific time kickoff. Check out the stream for that.
Yeah, it'll be on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now it's time for BC Soccer Web headlines. BC Soccer Web headlines is brought to you in partnership with bcsoccerweb.com. Your one-stop site for local, national and international news and links and a lot more beside. Make it part of your daily routine. Check out bcsoccerweb.com. What's been catching your eye on the site this week, Steve?
Some quick follow-ups from previous weeks. First of all, Nigeria seems like it's gotten back on track according to FIFA. They have reinstated previously voted in Pinnick, Amadou Pinnick. He was FIFA backed. This was when the government, the court had claimed that vote was invalid. Like they basically invalidated the election because there was something going on. And Chris Jiwa was ahead of that. Took control of the federation, but they apparently they stormed the headquarters for the Nigerian Football Federation, removed that group, and they put the actual person that was voted in.
And when will more of their World Cup kits be available?
I don't know.
Okay.
That hasn't been announced. That could be the reason why it wasn't enough.
I think they were waiting for the money. It's been held in trust, and they're just needing to help get it out the country. I'm working on that with them, though, so... Shh.
We all know Ronaldo went to Italy, but he has reached a deal with Spain's tax office to end the case.
Yeah.
Ronaldo's always trying to one-up Messi, right? You know, Messi got caught for tax evasion. Ronaldo's like,
I thought Ronaldo was first.
No, Messi was first, yeah.
Oh, Messi had the stuff in the Cayman Islands, too. 19 million euros he'll be paying in exchange for a reduced prison sentence that will likely be suspended.
I was talking to someone today. Like, just imagine if that was like an average Joe, you or I, Steve. Yes. You know, it's not Michael, obviously, because
I take helicopters.
He takes helicopters. But like, can you imagine? Like,
yeah, people are paying for my facial rates.
No, but you just pay. You get caught for tax evasion or something.
Yeah.
You just pay some crazy thing. They're like, we're gonna lower your thing, and we're just gonna make it go away. I
mean, you could buy Alphonso Davies for that amount of money.
Could have. Speaking of Italy, their Emmanuel Calio has been banned for 2 years. Parma is getting a 5-point penalty. This is because last year in Serie B, Parma did go from Serie B to Serie A. They were playing a team called Spezia, and he sent about 4 messages on WhatsApp to a defender on their team. And he's actually a former teammate because he used to play for that team, Philippe Decole, encouraging him and another former teammate to not try so hard so that they maybe get through. Now, because of those messages, they're claiming that this is match fixing, even though he's claiming that they were just joking around.
Yeah, I was going to say, did he not use like the sarcastic emoticon or whatever?
Maybe not.
Emoji?
They're appealing all of this. So
I feel bad for like Parma's gone through some difficult things with ownership and sponsorship and whatever. But I have a sort of soft spot for them as a club. You
like their ham.
They came to Varsity Stadium back in the day, and I got to see them play like a Canadian CSL, but some kind of Canadian 11. Or I forget who they played.
Maybe that's where they got the idea from.
But they hammered them. They hammered them like 5-0. Dino Baggio, Risto Sturczka. Like there were some great goals in that game. Like it was. So I just have a sort of a soft spot for. So I hope things get worked out for their sake.
Leyton Orient had a kind of a weird request for fans. that they wanted to bring their male dogs
Yes, this was
to the
fantastic.
pitch because of foxes.
Yeah. Because if
Were they playing Leicester City?
if your dog pisses all over the place, it's going to put the foxes off
Yeah.
coming with the scent.
Why not just buy dog urine then?
It's hard to get. I could try marketing that. If anyone wants some dog urine, get in touch with the show. AFTN branded. Tasty.
What's his name? Predictive Pooch?
Yes, Bailey. He's old now. He may as well earn his keep.
So you talked about East Fife.
Yeah, this
last
next
week.
story. This next story.
It's not like me.
No, yeah. You talked about East Fife. I don't think you mentioned this story. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm mistaken. I don't pay attention when you talk about East Fife. So I saw this. in the BC Way of headlines. I thought it was worth talking about. British comedian Eric Morecambe. Morecambe. He used to when he used to greet people from BBC football, whatever five, whatever they are, right? He used to always greet them East 5-4, 4-5. And that was a big comedic thing, and I didn't know what that was.
But also East 5-5, 4-4.
Yeah,
the other one.
Yeah, so he would alternate it back and forth to even confuse
I
it more.
preferred the one with one.
Because he said that was the most difficult. That would be the biggest tongue twister of all
when they
of
were
them.
doing the
Yeah.
final scores. And
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah,
It happened.
I thought I'd bring East Fife into the BC. You don't see that ever often.
No, but it happened.
It happened. East Fife 4
on penalties.
4-5.
The CAS has upholded ex-FIFA Secretary General's Jerome Valke's 10-year ban. He used to be Bladder's right-hand man from 10 years, about 06 to 16. He was basically caught for a ticket scandal, broadcasting rights. He was dealing with that, and as well as other stuff like private planes or something like that. So initially he was banned for 12. FIFA reduced it to 10. He tried to appeal that to the Court of Appeal Sport, I think they're called.
Court of Arbitration for Sport.
Arbitration Sport. And they didn't. They said no, 10 years is good enough.
So you just can't have anything to do with football?
I guess so.
Is other stuff going to happen to him?
No, I don't. That could be in the works.
Yeah, okay.
Because Switzerland, I know Switzerland law people, their attorney generals or whatever they call them there, they are investigating FIFA as well.
Right. Okay.
So, and who knows, New York could bring this involved too. But I don't know if they're seem like they're going after more of the South Americans. Another story that would interest Michael, if he was in the studio, Celtic. He's still not coming back.
No.
Okay, so Celtic. You'd be interested in this too.
Why?
Celtic has reduced their allocation for visiting fans, their tickets, from 7,000 to 800. Don't worry, everybody knows you weren't here.
Okay.
So they reduced it to 7,000 to 800.
Yeah.
Because Rangers reduced it initially. Now Celtic has too, because they say that they say demand for season tickets because Steven Gerrard is now the manager. They've said it's unprecedented.
Yeah. It's bollocks. It's just because they don't want away fans there
because they know they're going to lose.
Well, there's trouble. They don't want to have the
issues,
atmosphere, and
those games are intense. Yeah, because you see the whole end is. Yeah, it's quite intense.
So this next story, I'm not going to go.
It's unfortunate.
I'm not going to go into details, but I would recommend everybody go on YouTube or whatever you go on. Look for Carlos Kaiser.
Yeah, I read
the greatest footballer never to have played football. He was like one of the most popular people out there because he basically faked being. He just walked the walk and not really
like
did
Mustafa
anything.
Jarju.
Maybe that was the case.
Oh my goodness.
But he actually played a few games. This guy never played a game.
I've heard of him before, and then you sent me the trailer.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know they'd made a documentary.
It's coming out. That's why they had the article and the documentary. I think it's coming out this month in the UK. I'm not sure if it's going to be coming out here. Maybe on Netflix they'll put it on or something like that. But when I find out, I'll let you know. MLS news. We talked about before Kellen Acosta to the Rapids in a blockbuster deal. What Dallas is getting for that is a first in the 2019, international spot for 2018 and 2019 for the rest of the year and the next year, and then 50% of any transfer fee. So that's the big thing, that they're still going to get about half the transfer fee of what
because he's going. There's no way you're going to staying in Colorado.
Yeah,
I think what it is they want to get more, and then maybe this first round draft pick, this international spot, kind of makes up for what they maybe not going to get because you said, like you said, the evaluation wasn't as much.
I know we talked in the last section, but yeah, Dallas are just so weird with how they handle their players.
LAFC's, they're actually, a lot of supporters there are kind of upset because they are raising ticket prices next year already by 50%.
It's crazy.
It's on average 50%. So some is even higher, some are lower, and depending on
it's like a drug dealer. Get them hooked and up the price.
Well, they say also the secondary market has been so high that they feel like it's undervalued. That's why they're raising.
So a couple things. One is Atlanta. This has happened in Atlanta this year, and this is they're going into their third year. But some people there thought, okay, like this feels crazy. Like it feels like you brought us in with like, hey, we want to make this accessible for everyone. And now you wonder how that'll impact their crowds with LA.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's in this article or another article I read. The guy, one of the guys in their front office, one of the higher ups, said their tickets were mistakenly priced, or mistakenly priced too low
or something.
Like what? That just you're like
perceived value.
Well, you're just admitting your ignorance, and like someone there was incompetent. Is what you're saying, but really, what it's allowed is to have it's allowed to bring a lot of people who care about football, and they've created a fairly positive footballing atmosphere for the Goats games.
Yeah,
and it'll be really disappointing if that changes because of this.
You guys talked about Addy joining Cincinnati this week. They officially announced a contract extension for Alan Koch, up to 2020. Not sure if any options are in there, but it seems like it's a solid deal.
Excellent. Really pleased for Alan.
Yeah, happy for him.
Phoenix Rising. They visited MLS headquarters, met with Don Garber to give an expansion update. Looks like they're kind of pushing for that expansion team. The next announcement, and in case Miami doesn't go through, because who knows what's going to happen there in Miami.
Yeah, because wasn't it weird? Like the last time Garber was mentioning cities and he didn't mention Phoenix, and a bunch of people were like, it's weird he's not mentioning Phoenix because they've done so much to get ready, and
maybe they're a done deal then.
That's the other thing. The other thing is like he's not mentioning them because he doesn't want to bring attention to them because there is deals already in place. And once again, you got to feel bad for the Sacramentos of the world.
Yeah, I think their time is gone. Sadly,
very unfortunate.
CPL news this week: Jim Brennan named head coach of CPL's York 9 FC.
So what do you guys think about this? Michael, what do you think about this?
I'm totally indifferent on it. It seems a surprise considering.
Is he a part? He's like a part of the ownership group, isn't he? It feels
it depends on how much of a percentage he is, right?
But still, that'd be like Steve Nash.
Other appointments.
Steve Nash being the coach of the So
I mean, you've got Rob Gale, coach with the
So
I would rather have Steve Nash than Thomas Owen back in the day.
There's a lot of people who I think would have wanted anyone other than Thomas Owen. No, so we've talked about this before. We've talked about the positive side of bringing in these guys with the local community connection. So you have, what's his name, Paulus in Edmonton. You got Wheeldon in Calgary. You got Gale in Winnipeg. Stephen Hart in Halifax. Now you have
Curtis Larson in Toronto.
No, man. You have Jimmy Brennan coming in York Region. And so these are positives to start with, and they all have strong ties. But what happens when things don't go well?
Yeah.
Like how's that breakup going to go? Because you can't have every one of these clubs pull a Montreal and say, "Oh yeah, Nick DeSantis is not the coach anymore," but he's still within the organization. Like there's going to be some awkwardness.
For sure. And I think maybe they know this. These coaches that they know that this is not going to for some of these. But I think that ownership has to show some patience with the coaches too, because they're developing a team.
Oh, yeah,
I think they will.
I think there should be absolutely no coaches fired in the first, second 2 years, unless those coaches are completely incompetent, where it's clear that they have no idea what they're doing on the pitch.
CPL coaches, Steve Pender would like to be your agent.
No, I think they should. I think they need to develop and they need to show some consistency over the years.
Oh, I don't disagree with you. Yeah. It's just at some point, even if it's 5 years. Like, how do you? It's going to be.
Well, Jim Brennan in that case would step down because he told it's not working. Step down. So
but then he still has his.
Then he can stay in there.
It's all weird.
It's a little bit weird.
Last bit of news. We have Halifax Wanderers, another CPL team.
Yes.
They played Fortuna Dusseldorf.
Yeah.
U21.
121. Okay.
Kian's team?
Yeah. He's not fit right now. Shocking.
They won 3-2 on penalty kicks.
Halifax.
Yeah.
Yes. Attended
good crowd too.
Also
4,800?
4,800, just over that.
The Privateers were in full voice.
That's not bad. 4,800 for
Jim
a
Covey got his.
Yeah, that was shocking.
I have a message.
If anyone's got Jim's scarf, give it back.
I haven't messaged him, but were there any traveling Fortuna people there? Because I could see that. If there were, that's where I would look first.
I could see Montreal, though. Somebody coming.
I didn't, but San Jose Ultras there.
Yeah.
No.
Anyway, that was a good BC Soccer Web headlines this week. Just got time for one last thing on this show.
Sure, why not?
Our final wavelength section of the night. We've kind of ribbed you a little bit over the course with these German songs, Zach. So I wanted to finish with a proper song from 1999.
Shut the show off.
What?
I know. There's only one thing that happened in 1999 that I don't want to talk about.
Die Tottenhosen, Bayern.
Es gibt nicht viel auf dieser Welt, woran man sich halten kann. Manche sagen die Liebe, vielleicht ist da was dran. Und es bleibt ja immer noch Gott, wenn man sonst niemand hat. Andere glauben an gar nichts, das Leben hat sie hart gemacht. Es kann so viel passieren, es kann so viel geschehen. Nur eins weiß ich hundertprozentig, nie im Leben würde ich zu Bayern gehen. Ich meine, wenn ich 20 wär und super talentiert und Real Madrid hätte schon angeklopft und die Jungs aus Manchester und ich hätte auch schon für Deutschland gespielt und wär mental topfit und Uli Hoeneß würde bei mir auf der Matte stehen. Ich würde meine Tür nicht öffnen, weil für mich nicht in Frage kommt, sich bei so Leuten wie den Bayern seinen Charakter zu versauen. Wir würden nie zum FC Bayern München gehen. Wir würden nie zum FC Bayern München gehen. Das wollen wir nur mal klarstellen, damit man uns richtig versteht. Wir haben nichts gegen München, wir würden nur nie zu den Bayern gehen. Denn sowas wirklich sein, ist das Leben nicht viel zu schön. Sich selber so wegzuschmeißen und zum FC Bayern zu gehen. Wir würden nie zum FC Bayern München gehen. Wir würden nie zum FC Bayern München gehen. Was für Eltern muss man haben, um so verdorben zu sein, einen Vertrag zu unterschreiben bei diesem Scheißverein? Wir würden nie zum FC Bayern München
It could have been worse. I thought you were going to play something about, because you said 99.
Yeah.
It scared me for a second. Cause
It does mention Real Madrid and Manchester United in the lyrics of that.
Yeah.
What happened in 99? Something happened.
Shut your face, man, you boy.
Die Tottenhausen there from their 2000 album Unsterblich, released in 1999. That was Bayern. Die Tottenhausen are a punk band going back to the early 80s, well known for Tuna Düsseldorf supporters.
They're okay.
Anyway, Google the English lyrics for that.
Yeah.
Just before we go,
or don't.
There was a little controversy when it came to that song as well.
Yes, they got sued.
Really?
Mm-hmm, by Uli Hoeneß.
Oh, Uli Hoeneß.
Yeah, Uli Hoeneß.
Yeah, natürlich.
Anyway.
Not shocking that he would sue them over that.
That is it for our special German-themed episode of the show.
We'll have another proper one in the future.
When Phonzie goes. We'll
or
do that.
just before.
We'll have a nice German one.
A good Bayern one.
Do you know a little German?
Ein bisschen.
Hans. Anyway, that is it for this week's show. Just before we go, let everyone know where they can tell you online.
You can find me on Twitter, at WhitecapsBeat.
Nice sausages. Zach.
Michael. Oh, man. For me, it's at Zachary AM, and I'm part of the Movement Curva Collective.
You can also find him gobbling, sauerkraut, bratwursts, and a lot more besides.
We got to go back to that German place.
The Alpine, are we recording at Alpine?
I should have brought the outtakes from the Alpine Club episode.
No.
The things you said there, you should have deleted them a long time ago.
Oh, I've still got them on my computer. When I die, we'll do a posthumous episode.
Yeah, no, you said some terrible things that day, and I can't even remember them in detail. I just remember.
Oh, well, there was... we'll tell you off. Anyway, I'm Michael McCall. You can find me on Twitter at AFTN Canada. Follow us on Instagram at AFTN Soccer. And read our stuff away from the numbers, aftn.ca. We'll be back with a preview show midweek, previewing the wonderfully long trip to New York City FC. Looking forward to that one. Until then, and next Sunday, thanks for listening, take care, and mon the Caps!
Going to your first match is an experience you never forget. The atmosphere of what's going on around the pitch looks beautiful, and you always look and go, wow, I'd love to play here one day. If you get the bug, it's going to stay with you for life.
E